Hi everybody, welcome to this Master Division playthrough for the Carnival Sweeps 18-hole cup, featuring all free-to-play balls on this occasion. Please hit thumbs up if you're new here, please subscribe to the channel as well, both of those things are free to do so. General wind directions here, but we'll give you an idea of how you might want to approach these holes from third tee. Remember to tweak according to different wind angles as well as your club's balls and play style. Timestamps in the description down below. Some of the shots in this video are from old tournaments, so feature the old ball attribute levels, so bear that one in mind, but the shots will still work as designed. Good luck, here we go. We find our position at P6 max rest with a kingmaker then. Yellow ring touching the rough on the left with APOC 5 and 6 different club levels will have different accuracy. 3.5 backspin. I'm a bit light on it, so let's say 3.4 is what I go with in the video. You can tweak from there if you want to be closer to the pin. And 3 left spin. Now, I actually use a Kingmaker X. You don't have to do that, but if you can swap to a higher power ball, as long as it has wind 6 and at least side spin 6, it will give you a better chance of hitting perfect. Max plus 10, P6. Full overpower, a little bit of a shake with a power 8 ball. Kingmaker will be fairly shaky though. Try and hit perfect. Heavy great right or too much curl will hit the tree though. We want to go with half a ball of left curl only. Bit more backspin will get you closer to the hole, but either way, an easy wedge or an easy putt for your eagle. On this par 3 we're going to play with the quarterback and a kingmaker, adding spin first, and you can see here in the video I'm playing with 0.8 bars of backspin only, no side spin. And then we find our position with spin added, yellow ring touching the rough, and the ball guide is going to be missing the right edge of the cup as shown there, going a little bit beyond, but if you've got your backspin right, all you have to do is worry about aiming just right of the cup. Adjustment here is minimum distance with 10% elevation, and we are playing power 6 numbers here. Power 6 numbers because that matches the ball that we're using. Then it's time to take our shot. You can see there I'm finding the point where the circle breaks on overpower, and that is what I'm going with. So this is circle break overpower, still easy to hit perfect because we're not at max distance of our club. We bounce in the rough very nicely, catch the funnel, just needed to aim a little bit further to the right hand side on this occasion. We're going to set up with the quarterback on this par 5, P6 max rest, blue ring touching the rough on the right. Then we swap to our APOC bag and we want the sniper for the second shot. 5.8 topspin, 3 bars side spin to the right. Adjustment here is maximum distance with 5% elevation. I'm using power 6 numbers. No need to worry about ring references with your apocalypse. That's why we start with the quarterback, because then of course most people have got that club rather than different levels of APOC. So nice and easy, make sure you've got your bags set up accordingly. Then we go with 1 ball of curl to the right. Look at the edge of the kingmaker touching the outside wall of the adjustment ring, full overpower, and it's going to be a nice slow needle, so plenty of good opportunities here to hit perfect with that needle speed. Bouncing over very nicely, and the top spin takes us down towards the bunker side there, around 365 yards. Second shot, move the bullseye up over the fringe where it meets the green in line with the pin, and look at your plus yards. Plus 6 here would be equivalent to plus 8 with sniper level 9. Then I add my spin. I'm going to go with 3.8 backspin and 1 bar side spin to the left, and we're aiming here, offsetting the ball guide, you can see, just over 1 green square to the right of the flag, because the wind is going to push us a little bit. This will need a tweak, however. This is unfortunately a miss, but you can just build this miss into your aim and kind of edit the offset used in the video and try and get a bit closer, if not in. But the reference of what I'm doing in the video here, for a plus 6 fringe check, I play 39% slider with 10% elevation, and we're pulling twice over the bullseye. You should do the same as well to be consistent. And then we just have to center the ball and hit perfect. There's no curl or no overpower here. Obviously, if you're building in tweaks, you might want to incorporate some minor clicks of curl or OP as you go. But the first thing I would change is just to change the aim point here. I would rather you aim directly at the pin. Nice tailwind angle here, so we're going to go aggressively with a berserker at P10, max rest position there with my APOC. You don't have to have an APOC level 7. You could actually do this with an APOC 5 and maybe even APOC 4 with a push-up afterwards. So we're adding a couple of bars of backspin and 2 right spin. You would need to vary the backspin depending on your wind strength though here, because obviously with these high winds up in Master, it is going to have more of an effect on the flight of the ball. So more wind, I would play with more backspin so you don't overshoot. Max plus 10, then we are pushing up and going with about 1 1/4 ball of curl to the right. No overpower, make sure you don't accidentally overpower this shot. As with all blast shots though, you will need to tweak this according to wind angle. We are carrying the rough really nicely and rolling just before the fringe here, which is going to leave us a very easy chip, and we're going to play End Bringer School method. We've got videos on this. You can learn the entire method in around 5 minutes on the Academy tutorial playlist on the channel homepage. If you don't know what it is, then very quickly here you stretch your target to max and look at where the pin stands. I estimate the pin to be 40% from my ball to max distance of my club, so I'm going to play this 40% on the slider, and we're going to go 20% elevation using the same power settings as the ball you're using. So using power 10 numbers, no spin, ball guide to hole. Be careful here for glitch spots on the green. Apply a little bit of spin if you need to work around it. And obviously if you don't have tailwind, you're going to lay up and play a short iron rings from min. Here we have a very difficult par 3 with free to play, especially with the Kingmaker. So I'm going for an outside chance for hole in 1 using the rocket. Around 7.5 backspin here is what I'm going with. I'm having the red ring touching the rough on the right hand side there, the lower part of the red ring. I offset this one to the right. I didn't need to do that though, so I would suggest you go with a little bit of left spin to aim at the pin in this wind angle. The adjustment I'd like you to make here is medium distance, 15% elevation. It's difficult to get a consistent landing position here, and obviously if you want to try for the hole in 1, the best shot is absolutely with the paid ball and a rough bump. But if you're wanting to get safely to green, then the rocket is nice for the amount of backspin that is offered. So we either adjust less or we change the spin there, but a very tough par 3. Very good chance for an albatross here due to the funnel on the green. We're going to play an NMT shot with our Apocalypse P6 ball. We're going with 5.8 top spin and 3 bars side spin to the right. Then we adjust max plus 10. If you've got APOC 4, you'll be fine for this shot, but after you adjust, you need to push up a total of 6 yards or 1.7 rings to compensate for the lack of distance. Please note this is really a tailwind drive. You're not going to make it over with the right distance if you have headwind here. Going with full overpower, it's a slower needle and plenty of right curl as shown. Minor greats, doesn't really matter here. We're still going to make it over there. And then we're rolling along the fairway very nicely. Drive distance is going to be around 425 yards. Now, second shot, I'm estimating my club distance with the thorn. If you don't get the drive distance, you can still play a rough bump with your grizzly. Same principle applies, really, still an excellent chance. But as I say, estimate your club distance here. General elevation is going to be minus 10%, as this one does play uphill. We're going to need topspin to make it up the hill out of the rough. And I'm going with just under 5 bars of topspin and 1 bar side spin to the right, setting up quite high in the rough because we are going to adjust down the slope and it's going to cause us to lose distance on the shot. That is something you will need to do in tailwind. Crosswind, you're fine to aim with the top of the yellow ring touching the rough, but in headwind, obviously you're going to adjust to a higher point on the green, so you might need a click or 2 of underpower or to modify your position slightly. But the rough bump is absolutely the best chance. Great save, providing you have set up your shot correctly with regarding to adjusting to a higher or lower point. And as I say, minus 10 elevation, lovely channel to the pin for your albatross. On this par 4 in tailwind, we can use the wind push to bounce on that small fairway pad and set up for a thorn dunk. We're going with 4 top spin and 3 left spin, stretch out to P6 max stretch, and just have the ball guide pointing to the edge of the bunker there on the fairway. Now, if you've got headwind, obviously this isn't going to be possible. I would suggest you lay up with the quarterback or the rock and then approach from distance, as you won't make it onto the fairway pad and you don't want to risk the rough or the water. Adjust maximum distance 10% elevation. We're going with full overpower. It gives us a slow needle because we're not at max club, and we're playing with half a ball of curl to the left. Perfect ball away, bouncing comfortably on the fairway pad right in the middle, and the top spin takes us down, and the left spin avoids the bunker with the curl. Drive distance is going to be around 395 yards. Second shot, the dunk is only really if you like playing these shots. Some people don't. I do like them though. Going with max backspin, finding the minimum distance line with our thorn, counting rings from min. There's 4, there's 8, and then you can see another 3 rings, 11 rings. It's going to determine our slider percentage. Rings from min with the thorn is 1% slider per ring, so we're going to play this 11% slider, minus 10 elevation, aiming at the back of the cup. If you need more information about playing dunks, we've got an Academy tutorial video on exactly that type of shot. So rings from min, minus 10 elevation, pulling over the bullseye, and you're going to see centre the ball and hit perfect, and this one is going to drop very nicely. The reason I like the dunk here is because the green is very, very bumpy indeed, but it doesn't rule out playing a different shot. It's just I find the dunk the most consistent. This is a very tough par 3. I'm going to give you a start point here, and you can obviously tweak from there. With the quarterback level 10, this is max backspin and 3 right spin. And then I'm setting up looking at the tip of the ball guide. This is a difficult one to find some consistency on. It is a very hard hole. But look at the tip of the ball guide. It's about 4 green squares short and aiming to the right-hand side of that dark green square column. Pause the video, count up those squares just to double check. It was just an estimation from me, and you will need to tweak this anyway. So if possible, view this replay on a different device when you're practicing, and try and replicate and just move your aim point accordingly. It is a notoriously tough par 3 though. We're going to get close with a Kingmaker, but in all honesty this is not a hole that I would be pursuing a free-to-play drop. If you get it, then consider yourself very, very fortunate indeed. It is a true bonus, but it's a tough hole for free-to-play. Simple 1-to-1 adjust, so just adjust the same number of rings as the wind strength that you are getting. Just need to aim either a little bit further to the right or try some right curl to get that one in. On this par 5, we're going to play with a berserker, going to make use of the tailwind. P10 max rest, blue ring touching the rough with APOC 5 and 6. Then we add 5.8 topspin. And then I'm going with half a bar of side spin to the right, just to counter the wind push, because that's going to take us further forward, but also to the left, according to our wind angle. Adjustment here, max plus 0, power 10 numbers. Now, if you've got APOC 4, you will set up 1.7 rings into overpower, and you would have 30% of the blue ring overlapping the rough. After you adjust, you would then need to push up 7 yards or 1.6 rings. But you can still play the shot. Full overpower, it's a slow needle and will probably be pretty slow with APOC 4 as well. No curl, just try and hit perfect. And we bounce here over the water and the rough, and we're rolling down the middle of the fairway, and drive distance here is going to be around 435. Second shot with the Grizzly, we're going to go for a rough bump, and we're going to make a pin check. So I have the bullseye over the pin, that gives me plus 11 with Grizzly 9, that will be plus 14 with Grizzly 8. Make sure though you've got enough topspin. I need to check if Grizzly 8 has that topspin available. So just check that one if you're going to practice this one. Grizzly 9 is fine, it's max topspin, and you can see here no side spin. Tip of the ball guide is just passing the right edge of the cup, or rather the left edge of the ball guide is touching the right edge of the cup. It does need a small tweak here though, but it's something for you to work with. Now I pull the first 10 rings here, then I turn my aim point round and push the rest. It's not the most accurate way of doing it, but it was just in the time I had available, something I had a quick look at. It would be best if you could push all of the rings, so I would recommend you do that for consistency, otherwise you might be getting your pull angle wrong or your push angle wrong. It's difficult to pull all the rings though, because you have to zoom out and the bushes are then in the way. Small tweak needed, but this is a very, very close attempt. 30% slider, 0 elevation. It is 2% per yard is what I'd be playing with the long iron. And you can see here, unfortunately, we need to either tweak our aim or adjust a little bit more to get the albatross. If you want to support the channel, join us as a paid member on Patreon. You can get a 20% off annual memberships with the discount code May20. Early access to content, including my latest Academy tutorial video, and along with that video you get a free win range chart if you've been fairly new to tournaments or new divisions and you want to see the win ranges. We've got that there, plus lots more if you want to support us over on Patreon. All support of the channel greatly appreciated and helps me to keep generating free content for everyone. No real hazards to worry about on this par 3 and a decent chance with the sniper in all wind angles. I start by adding my backspin in this wind angle. I go with 3 bars of backspin and have the ball guide through the hole, aiming with the bullseye in the middle of the rough and the fringe on that section of fairway. Then I add some left spin to compensate for the wind angle here. It does need a tweak based on the miss in the video, but it gives you something to work from. Always coming in a bit hot as well with this attempt, so I would increase the backspin slightly and maybe play 3.5 backspin and maybe 1.2 to 1.5 left spin when you have wind angle coming in from left to right. Obviously it would be the opposite with wind going from right to left. Adjust max plus 10 and we're bouncing pretty much near to where we're aiming, just a little bit of a tweak needed to the spin for a decent attempt on this par 3. Tricky par 5 here. I'm going to play with the Thor's Hammer and the Cataclysm. I will need a long distance wood club in all wind angles. I'd recommend you do the same as well. And the reason I'm going with the Thor's Hammer is for the top spin. In the end, I actually settle with 7 bars of top spin. Obviously, if you have high level Apocalypse, you could play with that. If you don't have either club, you could play with Extra Mile level 9, but you would need to hit perfect. So 7 top spin, a little bit of left spin there, but no need really to worry about that. Depends on your wind angle. But I'm setting up here at P6 max rest, and then I'm adjusting max plus 10. No push-up, no overpower. Just tap this ball nicely down the fairway with a perfect ball, missing the trees. All we need to do is find the short grass. I want to try and favour the left-hand side of the fairway, but here is still going to be absolutely fine. And the wind angle on the second shot obviously is going to be pretty much crosswind with a bit of headwind because this is a dogleg design. We turn the corner, so we're going to have to think about that with our club selection, which is why I'm suggesting you go with the Cataclysm or the Big Dog. Here you can see I'm adding spin, always going to go with 3 left spin, and here playing with around 6 top spin, looking at that second bounce. I want it midway into the rough. If you have tailwind on this shot, then please don't put that second bounce too close to the rough because the wind will push you and you might miss the rough. If you've got headwind, I would like that second bounce to be near the edge of the rough towards the green because of the second bounce wind effect. Max plus 0 in all wind angles here. I'm adjusting into overpower just to make sure I clear and roll out of the rough. I am going to add 1 ring on, so it is a bit of a nasty shot, this one in this wind angle. Make sure you hit perfect, just clipping the rough nicely, rolling out for a putt for our eagle. Now, although you can support us financially on Patreon, you can also join as a free member. If you do that, you will get bonus master level text guide content from the Coalition. They produce text guides for free every tournament, free to play balls, and we send those out when they do so. And they very kindly agreed to let me share their archives of all the courses used in this season of Quick Nines for you all to use, because there may be some wind angles that you get as part of the Quick Nines that they have in their archive. So you will receive those if you join us as a free member on our Patreon. On this par 4, we're going to drive with the rock for the ball guide and the accuracy. With the rock level 9, I'm setting up at a max distance with half of the white ring into the rough on the right-hand side. Then I'm adding my spin, 3 top spin and 1.5 bars of side spin to the right. Once we've found those positions and added the spin, it is time to adjust, and my adjustment here is going to be max distance with 5% elevation. Max plus 5. Obviously, if you're adjusting into headwind here, you can still find position and add spin with the rock. You will need a bit more top spin, but before you adjust, I would then swap to your Apocalypse bag and use the same adjustment so that you're not adjusting or needing to use overpower. Perfect ball, and centre the ball hit perfect here, no need for any curl or overpower, and we want to just roll up the hill, taking a slight turn to the left. Drive distance around 350 yards. Second shot will need a tweak here, depending on what wind angle you get, of course. It's all about trying to find a consistent landing position, and it's not the easiest fairway to bounce on, but we're going to give it a go. Backspin and left spin, as you can see in the video there. I offset this one just to the left of the pin, and that's because the wind is going to push us to the right. That is something I would tweak depending on the wind angle that we get, of course, during the games. Here I adjust mid-distance minus 10% elevation, as this one does play slightly uphill. Mid minus 10 in this instance. Centre the ball and hit perfect. We'll need a tweak or two. You can either tweak landing position, spin, probably the spin, to be honest, because the bounce point is good. So just tweak the spin there, and you've got a good chance on this par 4. Got really close with this attempt here on this par 3 in tailwind. We're going to play with the sniper. Red ring touching the rough at the top of +3. Adding spin. It's 5.5 back spin, and it's 0.8 left spin. A bit hard to see. This is a very old replay before the spin bars were changed, but that's the spin that I was using here. 5.5 back and 0.8 left spin. We're adjusting here mid-distance 15% elevation in this pretty straight tailwind angle. Even if you don't have tailwind, though, there's a decent chance of dropping this one. You will need plenty of backspin, though. I'd reduce some in level crosswind, and obviously you would need to reduce further in headwind, because that is going to check the ball up. But definitely a good bounce point here. Perfect ball away, bouncing really nicely. Just needed a click or two of curl to the left for this one to drop. Got an eagle to show you here in this crosswind, a little bit of headwind. We're going to play quarterback and sniper. P6 minimum distance line, blue ring touching the rough on the left-hand side. We're going with 1.5 backspin and 3 bars of side spin to the left. Adjustment here, very simple, minimum distance, 10% elevation. Now you're going to need a pen and paper here to write down your drive distance, because we're going to use that to work out our adjustment on the approach. So I'm lining up here, we're using the top of the ball to make my adjustment on the rings, because I don't use grid lines. Just around 9.5 rings for me. Obviously always use a calculator yourself, get your rings correct. Centre the ball and hit perfect. We're using the quarterbacks. It's a nice accurate club. No need to worry there about hitting minor great balls either side. Going to be safe. Perfect ball away. This is always going to be around the 250 yard mark. On this occasion we were at 247. The replay on this approach comes from a drive of 248. It was a different shot, a different attempt on this one, which is why I'm using a different ball. We're playing with 4 backspin and 0.2 bars of side spin to the left, and I'm setting up here to have the tip of the ball guide with spin added down the middle of that dark green square column, which is about 3 green squares to the left of the pin. I was out of plus yards, which is why I used drive distance. You could use landing position. I was just before +1 here, but for 248, playing it 70% slider, 0 elevation, 1 pull over the bullseye, 2nd pull to the bullseye, and then it's time to hit perfect. You don't need a precision ball. You can play this with a regular kingmaker, so don't worry about the fact I'm using a precision ball here. This is still considered a free-to-play shot. Bouncing onto the green, and then we're dropping this one right at pin for the eagle. Level crosswind or any hint of headwind, we can play quarterback and kingmaker. I wouldn't play this in tailwind, though, because you will hit the minimum distance line. Just under 3 backspin and a little bit of left spin. There is a tweak needed here to drop in this wind angle, but gives you an example of the shot. Red ring touching the rough on the left, offsetting the ball guide approximately 1.5 to 2 green squares left of the hole, because the wind angle is going to push us in to the right. We're playing maximum distance, 0 elevation, and we're playing power 0 settings, just to give me the right numbers for this shot. In tailwind, I would recommend you play with a high distance wood club. Cataclysm is good, as is the Guardian with a kingmaker, so that you can make it onto the fairway pad without needing to push up and bounce over that way. But two alternatives depending on your wind angle. Hitting perfect, we've got a nice speed here, just needed a small tweak to the aim in this wind angle. Tough hole this one. You can also play on the left hand side, especially if you've got predominant tailwind, you can blast it over and get to long iron range. But here in a bit of an in-between crosswind angle, I'm going 5 top spin, 1 left spin, P6 max rest with my APOC 5+, having the second bounce just in the rough beyond the water there. We're going to bounce over and roll up before the rough. This is really a safe eagle play with an outside chance of albatross. Obviously more aggressive options on the left if you so wish. Adjusting the drive maximum distance with 10% elevation, and here I'm needing a little bit of overpower just to make the ball jump across without catching the rough. This is a tricky drive and you will need to tweak it according to how much tailwind or not that you may have, so I would recommend a practice token if you're going to play this side, because there's a lot that can go wrong. We could have done with really aiming a little bit to the left, but we're safely on the fairway. Second shot in headwind, if you've made it over there, you will need the Cataclysm or the Big Dog, but in crosswind and tailwind you can play Sniper. A couple of bars of top spin and 3 bars of left spin, aiming with the blue ring touching the rough. Ball guide as shown. We're going to need some left curl to bring this in towards the pin. I'm playing true club distance with 0 elevation, so for +2 I'm playing this in between mid and max, that's 75% on the slider. Once we've made our adjustment, like I said, a little bit of left curl to help bring this in towards the pin. Predominantly want to be on the green for a safe eagle, but we're actually fairly close to dropping an albatross. Nice lucky drop if you can get it. Just a few clicks more than outer wall curl to the left. I did hit great unfortunately, so this is going to miss to the left, but I feel a perfect ball actually would have had a chance to get the drop. On this par 4, I'm going to use the Thor's Hammer followed by the Guardian, adding my spin first with the Kingmaker, and I'm going to go here with 6.5 top spin and 3 bars side spin to the right. You can play this one with APOC 6 and above or extra mile 9 as well. I would suggest you aim a little bit to the left here by about 1 ring, because my second bounce is fairly close to the rough, so I would just shift the target slightly to the left. Adjustment is max +10, and I'm going with 0.8 ball curl to the right. And we want to swing this ball round, try and cut the corner here. You can see there the bounce is very close to the rough. So a little less curl or setting up, like I said, a ring or 2 to the left is going to be fine, but we want to go around 400 yards. Second shot, I'm finding min line of my club and max line. Going to estimate club distance as best I can. It's going to be around mid distance as a general rule here, and I want to use the backspin and the slope at the back of the green to check the ball right down from the slope, bouncing back to the green and near the hole. In the video here I played mid +10, however this is over adjusted. I would recommend you play true club distance with 0 elevation instead. I'm intentionally leaving the ball guide to the right of the hole rather than aiming at the pin, because of course the wind angle is going to push us in to the left, and you would need to offset accordingly on the other side if you've got crosswind from left to right. So 0 elevation would have been better on that one. If you are enjoying the free content here on the channel and want to help out and keep everything free, then please consider making a small donation. All donations are gratefully received and help me out here on the channel, as all of the content here is produced for free in my own spare time. You can do that in one of 3 ways. You can hit the thanks button here on YouTube, you can make a PayPal donation via the link in the description down below, or you can also join us over on Patreon. Details at the end of the video. 3 good shots needed to get our eagle on this par 5. We're going to drive with the rock, and we're using 4.2 top spin and a little bit of side spin to the right. Aim the ball guide into the middle of that piece of fairway there that just sticks out into the rough. We are at P6 max rest with the rock level 9, white ring touching the rough on the left hand side. We are going to adjust here maximum distance with 10% elevation, centre the ball and hit perfect. Obviously you'll need a little bit more top spin in headwind, so I would then once you've set up with the rock, switch to your APOC and just add a bit more top spin so that you're not short. But actually we've got a bit of room anyway. We could have gone with circle drop overpower, or just before circle drop overpower, to get us some more distance. As things are though, we're fine. Second shot, pick either the big dog or the cataclysm, whichever offers you the most top spin, and we are going to go full top spin here and just want to transport ourselves down the fairway so we have a clear shot with our thorn. Adjustment here is max distance, 0 elevation, and to get a few extra yards on this one, I push up to max. Obviously, if you want to push the drive harder, you don't need to do that. I'm going with circle break overpower here. If you push the drive, you don't have to do that. You could actually still push up and reduce the overpower and go with no overpower. It's all about what you feel comfortable with. I would think a minor great ball either side would be fine though, providing you've got a fairly accurate wood club. You can make a pin check here if you've got this wind angle. If not, estimate the distance of your club. Here I was using pin check reference, and +5 came out at 70% on the slider. That was what was dropping for me. But if you're playing this without wanting to dial in your own tweaks, then I would play true club distance with 10% elevation. Bit of backspin and a little bit of right spin in this instance to line up the ball guide with the wind angle. You don't have to do that, but I found it worked very nicely here. Ball guide slightly short of the cup because we have tailwind, and obviously that is going to push us with more a bounce than is shown. You've got secondary wind effect, and the opposite with headwind. If you've got headwind here, have that ball guide going through the hole slightly to compensate for the wind push. Perfect ball away with our adjustment, and we drop it for the eagle on this very long par 5. Thanks very much for watching this video here on the channel. If it has helped you in any way, please consider sharing it amongst your friends and clanmates in the game. Join us also on Facebook. Head over there, search for BK Golf Clash and join our free group. Loads of members there sharing shots. Free guides are posted, as well as loads of other great Golf Clash resources. So check us out there. You can join in the discussion and also leave feedback on the game in general. Finally, if you wish to help support the channel and keep the content free for everybody, please consider becoming a Patreon member. The link is in the video description down below. Good luck, see you soon, bye for now.